Hi everybody, this is Dan Talk Sense, and today I'm going to be telling you my top 10 fragrances that I'll be wearing this fall and winter. I'm going to give you a mixture of clones, a few cheapies, some designer, and I'm even going to throw in a niche fragrance, so there should be something for everybody. So if you want to know what my choices are, then please stay tuned. Hi everybody, so welcome back. So I was going to try and get through these really quickly, hopefully give you an idea of some of the fragrances that I think are really good, worth going out there to purchase. So the first one that I think you should check out, if it's still available in a Primark near you, is one called Pour Homme Noir Eau de Parfum. I thank Chris from Fragmental for making me aware of this one. This is a really good clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid. Really spicy, you can smell the dark chocolate in there, a bit of woodiness in there as well, but this was just £5 and it was just really good clone of Black Orchid for me. Really decent, released by the House of Primark, a clothing shop in the UK. Number 9 was a fragrance from Zara, and this is Unexpected Fresh Spicy. For me, this is a really good clone of Pure Havane by Mugler. Really good quality, quite dense in the air, and you get the spices, you get honey tobacco vibe from this one. Really lovely bottle, I think, and this was only £12.99 and really well blended for such a cheap fragrance. So that is Unexpected Fresh Spicy from the Tobacco collection. My number 7 is this one, and this is CK Shock. This is entry-level tobacco fragrance. This is so cheap. This was 200 mils and this was about £25 I think I paid for it. Performance isn't fantastic. You probably get an hour and a half of projection out of it, but I reapply this throughout the day, and what you get with this one is tobacco. You get a little bit of cinnamon in there as well. Really good release, I think, from CK, from Calvin Klein. Really enjoyed this one, and a decent fragrance for the winter. Number 7, and people might frown, complain, and say, why are you wearing La Mal in the winter? For me, it's such a bomb of a fragrance. It's still got that beautiful DNA from the 90s, the clubbing fragrance from the 90s, and for me it still works. I still get compliments, but I do think that you have to get your hands on a vintage bottle, because newer versions are nowhere near as good as vintage. You get the vanilla, lavender, and you get the mint in there as well. Bubblegum vibe fragrance, and it still gets me lots of compliments when I wear La Mal, but it has to be vintage, and I will be dropping a video comparing vintage La Mal to modern versions of La Mal, and I'll tell you the differences between the two. So that is my number 7. My number 6 is another release from Zara. This is also from the Tobacco collection. This is Intense, Dark and Exclusive. This is very similar to Carolina Herrera VIP. I think it might be VIP Black. This has got coconut and tobacco in there. This sits fairly close to the skin, moderate projection, but for me this is beautiful, well blended, sort of a creamy tobacco coconut vibe. Beautiful in the winter. You couldn't wear it any other time of the year. My next one, and I think this is really important, so I've done 5. This is my this is number 5, and this is Boss Bottled Intense, and this is where a great example of when they've amped up the performance. Use the DNA, which was really successful. So Boss Bottled was really successful fragrance throughout the 90s, 2000s, and really reliable in the office, but it's kind of dated now, and what they did is they took that DNA, they added a little touch of orange, which I kind of pick up. They freshen this up, but the performance of this is much better than a Boss Bottled original. And I tried Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum this morning, and for me, nothing special. I would forget that one and just go ahead and get Boss Bottled Intense. Beautiful apple cinnamon vibe, like apple pie kind of notes in there, and it'll smell great this winter. So my number 4, and for me this will always be my favourite choice for a date. This has got the vanilla in there, it's got spices, This is vintage Spice Bomb, so it starts with 38K 106. Compared to newer batches, this performs a lot better. Lots of better performance than newer batches for me. This is more fruitier, it's sweeter, and I was wearing this not too long ago, and the dinner lady behind the counter said, "What are you wearing? Because that smells really good." That is Victor & Rolf Spice Bomb. Still a beautiful and I think unique fragrance. Fantastic fragrance. You've got to get your hands on that one. We'll get down to our last three. The number three for me has to be Dior Home Parfum. I haven't yet opened this box, and the reason for that was because I thought this was discontinued. However, I found out the great news that Dior have brought this back in 100ml bottles. So I will be shooting a video where I open the packaging and give you my kind of first impressions of this, and I'm going to give you a full day of wearing this and tell you how it performs. This is a vintage version, what I claim to be vintage, what I think is vintage, and this is Dior Home Parfum in a 75ml bottle. You got the leather in there, you've got rose in there, a really simple scent breakdown, but really nice and reliable fragrance, and it makes you feel prestige. Good if you wear a suit in the office. That is Dior Home Parfum. When we get to our last two, they're both good in their own ways, but number two has to be Fahrenheit Parfum. So what they've done is they took the DNA, the original DNA, but they took out that gasoline note, which was really divisive. Some people liked it, some people didn't. And what they've done is they added a beautiful bourbon vanilla note. This reminds me of walking home when it's bitterly cold in the winter and you can see your own breath in the air. It's really misty, dark, freezing cold. You can't wait to get in with your shopping bags. This performs superbly in the winter. You get a really nice scent bubble, and I think this will get you more compliments than the original Fahrenheit because it hasn't got that gasoline, which is divisive. This is more mass appealing. They've refined it, and for me, it is absolutely, that bourbon vanilla note is so good. You have to smell this, and you'll know what I mean. If you remember smelling Fahrenheit in the 90s, you will really like this one, and this for me is a better scent, which is a big statement, by the way. Number one for me has to be Spice Bomb Extreme by Victor & Rolf. I was really pleased when people like Jeremy Fragrance were giving this a shout out, putting this in as their number one as well, because I used to wear this quite a lot and nobody else seemed to talk about it. For me, the cinnamon in this is absolutely beautiful, done really well. This reminds me of going to a live music venue called Albert Shed. It's based in Southwater, Telford, and when I go in there, it gets really hot in there, and as my skin warms up, this booms off my skin. In fact, it lives up to its name of Spice Bomb because it creates such a huge scent bubble that actually kind of makes people want to come closer to you. There have been people at the bar, mostly women, that will say, what are you wearing? I need to get that for my husband. That smells really good. You smell good. And when somebody says that to you, your confidence is boosted and you feel $1 million. And I always get compliments when I wear this. For me, I would wear this on a date. I would wear this in the office just to make a statement. I might even wear this today. It is such a good fragrance and will always be my number one until something performs, projects better and smells as good with that spiciness and that vanilla sort of creamy tobacco. But it has to be my number one. I really like Spice Bomb Extreme. Before I finish, I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus here. One is a fragrance that I've got a decant of. This is 30ml of Mancera Instant Crush. This potentially is one of the best niche fragrances that I've smelled, which is a massive statement. And I haven't smelled as many niche fragrances as some people out there. But for me, this is absolutely wonderful. You can smell people right down the corridor. You know, you can smell me right down the corridor when I smell this. When I wear this, it leaves a really good scent trail. A fantastic fragrance by Mancera. And the other one is a decant of a fragrance that I do intend on buying a full bottle of before the winter's out. And that is Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. I smelled it, I thought, wow, what a fragrance. I really want to get a full bottle now. So I thought I'd add that in at the end. Thank you all for listening to my video today. If you wear any of these fragrances that I've mentioned today, please let me know what you think of them. Let me know your top 10 list because I'm always looking for new purchases. and I will be getting my hands on some more fragrances before the year is out. It is a highlight for me. Through the times where things aren't so great with COVID and everything, this has been a massive highlight for me in discovering new fragrances. I thank you all for listening today. I do ask kindly that you hit the subscribe button down below. The channel is growing, and it's thanks to people like you out there, my subscribers, who comment, like my video and watch the duration of the video. I do really appreciate that, and it's getting the channel out there and it's growing steadily and slowly, and I do appreciate it, and I thank you for your support, everybody, so far in the journey. I hope you all have a really good end to the weekend. I hope England win today. England are playing today against Belgium in the football. I hope they win, and I'll speak to you all very soon.